Hello everybody, my name is Malivus and welcome to the Stanley Parable. Now this is a game I've wanted to play for quite some time. I actually played like the little mod for it, I guess. I can't remember what game the mod was for, the architecture they used or anything, but the little mod was a lot of fun. I think this was going to be a lot of fun too. We'll go ahead and get it started here.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright. Very mysterious so far. Oh, I can move. Can't read the coffee cup. 429.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Can't access a computer. I move really freaking fast though, my god. It's like auto run turned on or something. Why are abandoned offices always so damn creepy? Hello? Where'd you guys all go?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wait. Oh yeah, you try to tell me what to do and I'm not gonna do it because I'm better than you.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Perhaps he did. Perhaps he did. Or maybe he just doesn't want to listen to everything this narrator tells him to do. I can think for myself.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Can I literally drink something in? It's a...
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Absolutely worth it, and I'm gonna stay in here the rest of the game. Maybe not. This room's actually a little bit lame.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
You do have a point, narrator. This narrator is smarmy. I'm just gonna stay in here if he says anything else to me.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Oh, maybe he's not going to say anything else. I don't know. It's funny.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope. Not gonna take that one either.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hey, you know what? I'm my own man and I live my own life. I'm gonna go down to the factory floor. What's that? Warning. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, 1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, 5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Yes.
Someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who is her?
This is
Oh, mysterious narrator.
your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who the fuck is she? Maybe if you told me that. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep going the exact opposite way of what you said. Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick that up either. I'm just gonna let it ring. I'm gonna unplug it. Can I unplug it? Nope. Can't interact with anything in this game. Just gonna pace around the room until the phone stops ringing. I can't get out either. I guess maybe I'm not gonna have a choice but to answer the damn phone. Oh. Alright. Wait.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you?
Yes.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
What's really going on?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 427. Press X on your gamepad.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I'm trying to press buttons other than the one they want me to.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
I didn't choose anything. I was just kind of thrust into this game.
In his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press B to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press Y to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice.
Woohoo!
It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Press X to prepare dinner. Well, you're...
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Press RB to tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm not pressing a button until I feel like I have no choice but to press a button. Just gonna let this play out. Oh god, I'll lose patience quickly. Oh damn it, it's not gonna do anything until I don't want to prove you right, narrator. You son of a bitch. Fine.
You see?
You win.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Please press B to question nothing.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed the button. And I tried again.
What the hell just happened? Alright. Well, that was an interesting ending.
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. This game's very, interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go down this way this time. I'm gonna see what happens
Yet there
now.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, alright, I'll do that. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Take it out. Using slides to ensure employees everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. This will ensure a calm and productive work environment. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Well, that's nice. I like being unique. Number of slides on the slide. This game's really got some humor to it. I like it. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Slide chart ratio. Oh boy. Rate of increasing grass per slide. Please no more charts. Please, I'm begging. The Boss Appreciation Minute. On your Boss Appreciation Minute worksheet, circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out in triplicate and return to your Boss Appreciation Specialist. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined toward conflict unless you're the kind of person who initiates conflict, why did we hire you? Okay, I'm done with you, sign. You go too fast. I was trying to read for all these people here, but you're fucking rude.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. Not gonna do that. I'm gonna go downstairs. There's a car.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Yes, that's
All because
exactly
he
why I went
believed
downstairs.
Everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Those are good questions.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa, no freaking way.
He imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I think that's the best question.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Didn't you just tell me I didn't have a wife?
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Except I'm probably not.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up.
I'm
My
still
name is
awake.
Stanley.
God
I have a
damn it.
boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice?
Am I going to die?
Who am I? And everything went black.
Holy shit. What the hell?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
She didn't even, like, call it in. My death meant nothing to anyone. Oh. Guess we're starting again with a new day. So I've had two different.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
All right. Well, before we get started off with a new day, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video here. I'm having a lot of fun with this game so far, and I hope you are too. I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy.